Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Shadow Alolan Raticate, and this is going to be again a team that I actually built and a team that was designed to be very good in the current meta, and I went 5-0 with this team, and this team was honestly so much fun to play. I did not play everything perfectly. For example, here into Golisopod, you should most likely rather go into your Furret, because Furret doesn't take super effective hits from the Accessor, but also Furret is going to have the same pacing as Golisopod, while Raticate needs a few fast moves more. It needs 6 fast moves for the first crunch, 6 fast moves for the second crunch, and 5 for the third crunch as far as I know, which still makes it usually outspeed them like in the long run. So here we are going to still be able to align ourselves, and we're still going to be able to get to our crunch. And honestly, Shadow Alolan Raticate was absolutely amazing, and this team worked out so well for me. And you might think already, what does this team do against Azumarill? And you will see that later on, so definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, we're going to see our next opponent going to have a Dragonite in the lead. I assume that they're going to have now a Alolan Sandslash in the back, as well as a Jellicent. That is the first legend team of the season. Usually was Shadow Dragonite though, which is a huge difference compared to the normal Dragonite, by the way. So if you ever want to run this team, I would really recommend you to rather go for the Shadow version of the Dragonite. Well, yes, they were able to survive the hit from the Furret a little bit better. It's usually not worth it. It's usually not worth it. Again, I would expect here that they are going to run in the back the Jellicent, and so we're going to let the move go through. We see the Jellicent coming in, and we can go for the fly, and I'm not too worried at all. We're going to still have a really good answer in the back here, of course, with our Raticate. And Raticate, while the fast move was going to be double resisted, it's still going to be such a good Pokemon to run here against the opponent. The Dragonite is going to go down, and with that we even have an energy advantage, and this is going to be such a good one for us, as we can just go for our crunch and farm them down and win. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting team here today. There's going to be an interesting lead as well with the Pangoro. This battle was a bit of a tough one. This was, by the way, the first set that I did here. I did 3 sets in total. I went way positive in total as well. So yeah, we will see here the Credilli coming in. That is going to be fine. We will have here the charge going through as well from the opponent, doing some sort of damage. But we can at least still go for the neutral Sucker Punch, the Trailblaze to boost our attack up again, and to the Swift, which is going to allow us to get the KO. So that is going to be absolutely amazing for us. So we have here the Pangoro coming in though, and we should have done, I don't know if we should have done something different, but we're gonna be able to at least get some more damage onto them. And I think I should be fine with my Talonflame. I can take a hit here. I can go for even the Flame Charge to boost our own attack up. They're at 100 energy for sure, so they're going to be very spammy, but we can take 2 Night Slashes. We are not really too worried about any of that kind of stuff, and I'd rather keep my last Pokemon for whatever they have in the back. They get the boost immediately. They have like 1 HP left here now after the Incinerate, and also I swap out here to catch the next Night Slash, but apparently they still got to a close combat here, and we lose because of this. The boost, literally the boost. Without the boost we would have won this one. It is quite a bit annoying, but we would have very likely won this one, I would assume. We would have had energy on Talonflame, we would have still had our, what's called our Raticate there. It just, yeah, 12.5% chance, right? Again, I don't really want to complain too much about it, but yeah, 12.5% chance. I recently did, I think, 2 or 3 videos about Pokemon with Night Slash that get there insanely fast. One of them was the Therial, one of them was a Greninja team. I did not get a single boost, I think, in this video, so like, it's madness. Anyway, you're gonna see a Furret against us, we have Furret against them. And Furret, honestly, it's the first time I actually can play this Pokemon. I wanted to run Furret for at least like basically since the beginning. I always used Charge TMs on this Pokemon. I had Brick Break and Hyper Beam on there before because I had this Pokemon actually built already. I went basically directly to Trailblaze when I got rid of Brick Break, and I went from Hyper Beam the entire time to anything else other than the Swift. It took me a minimum of 15 Charge TMs to get Swift on this Pokemon. I kid you not, it took me basically until now to get this Pokemon to Swift, and it was ridiculous. By the way, I do basically every single 3-star right that I see nearby. It doesn't matter, like it literally just doesn't matter, because Furret is never getting Swift from me, but like finally I at least got this one. Like if you didn't know, 3-star rates are always going to give you a guaranteed charge TM, at least one of them, a lot of times 2 or 3. And this is the best way of getting this one, but it took ages. Anyway, here we see that I actually decided to let basically my Raticate go down. I would have liked to fully farm them down, but I was thinking that this is going to be my best bet of winning, going up against the Marowak here with a fly, knocking them out with that, and we can move on to the next opponent. Sableye. Yeah, we have a good backline against this Pokemon. We are a bit scared of a potential Power Gem though, and they swap out into a Abomasnow. That is not a Pokemon that I really expected here today, but to be fair, it could still be a solid one. I don't know, but yeah, Abomasnow could still be having some play. I'm actually thinking right now, like, this Pokemon actually looks kind of interesting for the current meta. Like, you have a lot of Pokemon where Abomasnow would be good against. Furret is kind of neutral, but they go for the Icy Wind, which I didn't expect as well. I like Weather Ball a little bit more on the Abomasnow compared to Icy Wind. And as you will see here, I decide to swap out into my Raticate, and they reveal that they, wait, do they have, like, why do they swap out? They have the Azumarill in the back. And this is literally basically the reason why we have the Shadow variant of the Raticate. It is just better to have it against the Azumarill because your fast move is doing more damage. And I was looking basically at both versions because I have both of them built. The return version, the purified version of Raticate, which is cool because return is a really good charge move. Don't get me wrong, it's a really nice charge move to have. It's better than Hyper Fang by far. But I was looking at basically the matchups and I was like, what is my best bet of dealing with the issues that I have with the team that I want to build? And the Shadow version just looked way better against the Azumarill, just because on the 2-shield scenario, you just do so much more damage with the fast move alone. But anyway, we're going to take a look here now at this battle, and it's going to be such a difficult one to still win. But Azumarill is still there, has two Pokemon where it can do something against, but I'm still hoping that my Furret is going to be able to win it for us. And I'm not too sure if I played it correctly here. I decided to go for the Trailblaze. I thought maybe I should have went for Double Swift here. I didn't know how much energy they had, but Trailblaze is luckily enough to knock them out. And with that, we get rid of the hardest answer to this team. Next opponent. Good lead. Say swap. I swap out into my Raticate. This is generally a good matchup for Raticate. You can take two Awkward Tails quite easily. You can go for Crunch. Here, it doesn't really matter if you go for Crunch or the Hyper Fang, like they would have got to the Awkward Tail in time anyway. And at this point, they are gonna go down, but not from my Raticate. I might just go into my Talonflame again, trying to get my energy here because, oh, they swap out into the Marowak anyway. Thanks for that. We have the Flame Charge, and yeah, this is kind of game over. Like, they're gonna be in such a bad matchup now, they decide to forfeit here. By the way, our Talonflame moveset is kind of interesting. We're not running Brave Bird. I like Flame Charge a lot. The cool thing about Flame Charge is, if you go for one Flame Charge early, you only need 2 fast moves for the next 2 flies, which is really nice. And then you have boosted fly quite fast. It is just cooler for the pacing, in my opinion. And of course, with the extra Incinerate damage as well, adding on top of it then with the boost from Flame Charge. I like this moveset a little bit more than the Brave Bird moveset, but I fully understand that Brave Bird is usually more common because of the potential of the nuke. Like, you can just completely destroy your opponent with that. But anyway, we're going to see the Furret going to go up against the Feraligatr. We're going to be able to go ahead and swap out into our Raticate now, taking triple resisted damage from the fast move, but still quite neutral damage from the Hydro Cannon here, as we can see as well. And we decide to go for the full farm run. They would have had the energy there already, so I could have went for the Crunch and I would have knocked them out there, but I did think that they're most likely going to try to go for a CMP tie. I didn't want to risk it. I think it was the right choice to not risk it there as well. And so we decided to go for the Crunch against the Clodsire. I can let the move go through, but I decide to actually use a shield here. It's going to be the Sludge Bomb coming in, and they swap out into the Jellicent, so they're weak to me in the bag. But it's still not over. But the opponent makes an interesting play by letting the move go through. Sadly, no debuff. The debuff would have been actually really nice here, I feel like. 30% chance, of course, to get the debuff with Crunch. Because as you will see here, we would have done a lot more damage with our Incinerate already. We can go for the Flame Charge here to try to do even more damage. But they are going to be just able to fully farm us down. And this is the worst possible position because I was hoping they would still survive a move here from the opponent's Jellicent on my Ferret, but I was not able to, and now they can go for a Surf and knock us out. Bit unfortunate. Like, Jellicent is absolutely not an issue for the team. You have 2 great answers, just the positioning of it. Next opponent here. I know that it took ages for me to get into this battle. I think it was over 20 seconds where I was just in the battling screen, and I was like, when is the battle starting? And all of a sudden the opponent comes up here as well. And they're running some spice. They're running definitely some spicy stuff. Oranguru is a Pokemon that I really like. Also in the current meta still. Has a lot of great coverage. Just a bit awkward with all the dark types, because dark types are basically the hardest answer to this Pokemon, where they cannot really do anything against it. They have Glalie in the back, and we get the defense drop immediately, which is cool as well, because it's going to allow us to just do more damage with our other Pokemon. I know that my lead is going to be basically the Pokemon that wins the battle. I think at this point the opponent knows as well. There's basically nothing they can do to win this battle at all here. And so they're going to let the Swift go through. It's no Talonflame against the Moongos. Like, I don't have to really tell you that this game is over here at this point, I think, because, yeah, they let the move go through. They know this game is over. They were double weak to, yeah, Fire-type Pokemon. It is what it is. Next up, we're going to have a lead that's good, but not as great anymore as it was back in the day, because the Sludge buff really makes it an awkward one. By the way, at this point, there's going to be a video hopefully tomorrow or the day after for the Spring Cup. At this point, Weezing looks absolutely overpowered for the Spring Cup, to the point where I wish that they just like banned this Pokemon. I think it would have helped the Cup out quite a bit. But yeah, Weezing, going to be a Pokemon you really want to build for the Great League this season. It's going to be really good for the next upcoming Cup. We otherwise only going to have available the, I think, Ultra League and then the Master League again, while we have 2 weeks of the Spring Cup. So yeah, Spring Cup looks a little bit of an awkward cup, to be fair. Now where this Pokemon is so overpowered. They also have Overheat here, which is also going to be recommended for the Spring Cup. So they already have the moveset kind of for that one. But yeah, Spring Cup, I'm going to be curious on how this is going to work out, because Weezing seems absolutely overpowered, being able to basically deal with everything in the meta. And it's like by far the highest Pokemon on the tier list as well, on the meta list on PvPoke. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Here also interesting one is going to be the Gliscort matchup. I am fairly certain at this point that I have a Fly stored on our Talonflame, which means as long as we're going to get the shield, we're fine. We get the shield, we're fine. We don't get the defense drop, doesn't really matter. Fly is going to just knock them out. Like, there's nothing they can do. They have to go for double Exeter here. They're not going to be able to overform by a lot. Yeah, that should be fine for us. Like, we should be able to win this battle quite easily. And with this, we're going to move on now to the next opponent, because this Fly is easily going to be enough to knock them out, and we can move on to the next one. Next up, we're going to have here Talonflame against the Wigglytuff, which is absolutely amazing. They're going to sword into the Drapion, and I kind of want to get a little bit of prior damage onto them. And so I decided to use a shield here, because this is my best answer, of course, to Wigglytuff for sure. But I also kind of want to keep my other Pokemon alive in the back. I want to keep my Raticate alive, because I could see that there's maybe a Pokemon that's weak to this in the back. And so I go into the Furret, which has the same pacing for basically like the opponent's Drapion here, which is kind of what I wanted to use as well. They're of course going to be a bit faster if they want to go for Awkward Tail, but as you see here, we're going to be able to get the KO. And we definitely should be able to also still get to a Swift against them here, which is going to allow us to put them into range for just one charge move from the Talonflame. Still, I want to keep the Talonflame really healthy here, because I could see it being one of the better Pokemon still to deal with, because we need to have it basically for the Wigglytuff. And so I decided to use a shield here against the Swift. Very likely it's going to be the Swift for sure, and I want to see what they have in the back. It is going to be the Marowak. We can go for a Fly, and I can even go for another fast move, go for another Fly if I really wanted to, but they let the move go through already, and so I just go for one fast move and try to go for the full farm down with the Raticate. I have now a Fly stored for the Wigglytuff, and I should be able to get out of here with a Hyper Fang for the Wigglytuff as well. I should be able to survive this one. Hopefully I am going to be able to survive this one. I am, and it's only going to be the crunch for them, but even this is going to get them low, and I'm very certain this is going to be it. Like, they're going to be forced to let the move go through. It still did a ton of damage, and one more Incinerate is going to be all it takes to knock them out. Last battle here, we are going to encounter the Dugong against us. What we see here is that I go for a free fast move. They try to go straight for the Ice Unit, allowing me to get a free 5-turn Incinerate in. I can just swap out of here, and they apparently just don't know their counts, because they went here, like I went for the Swift straight away, like there's no way I have the Trailblaze, but they still use a shield. Or they're just so scared of the Furret, and I'm just gonna let the move go through again, which means we're kinda open now, because we have 2 Pokemon half health already, and they were gonna reveal that they're going to have in the back here the Toxapex, which is quite an annoying matchup for us. As we will see here, I can go for the Swift, I'm gonna get them lower, lower, and lower, and I have an idea here now. I have 4 fast moves on my Talonflame, and I put them into fly range with this move. As long as I go for the fly straight away here, I'm going to be fine because I try to go for the full farm down, and now I get a free incinerate in if they want to use a shield, which I do, and now I have another fly stored, basically back to back against them, so the brine that they would have still stored is going to go to waste, and this is going to be amazing, because now all the energy kind of goes away. We still have a shield advantage, we have the Dugong against us, which is not an issue. They go for the KO, and I will let this actually happen. Oh, actually will not let this happen. That's kind of interesting. I should have let this happen most likely. I think I would have been better to go into the Raticate. But apparently I don't, and it's going to be in the back of the Marowak, which I have to go back into my Raticate anyway. But we're still going to be in a very solid position as they can go for the Bone Club. I can go for 4 Fast Moves now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hyper Fang. Going to do a little bit more damage than Crunch. I think 5 more damage. It's not the better move. It's just, I mean, it does definitely more damage. So like it doesn't really matter here. We just have to swipe 1 Fast Move on our Talonflame will win the battle. And this was a 5-0 at the end. And as you're going to see here, this was a great team to run right now. I would really recommend you to give it a try. Here we have a Cubone as well that we got as an encounter. As you see here, we're going to get a 5-0, climbing up a little bit. And hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And I will see you then. Bye bye.